Hello everybody, welcome to episode 122 of Dimes on Duval. This is Mike Yazji. It's a solo episode tonight as Keith and Skylar are both unable to record tonight due to prior accommodations. So it's just going to be me tonight. We're going to talk about the Jaguars' loss to the New York Jets. And we're going to also talk about the transfer portal for at least the Florida State Seminoles. I don't care about the Gators. Y'all know me. I don't care. So I'm just going to give you my thoughts on certain pickups and certain losses that the Noles have had in the last week and a half or so in regards to the transfer portal. But first, recapping the Sunday afternoon fiasco of a game between the New York Jets and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jaguars lose 32-25 behind a kind of a subpar effort by our defense. Definitely below. I mean, Mac Jones played well, but the defense was the key here in the reason for the loss. Davante Adams absolutely torched us. He looked like a true number one again. He looked like his old self. Rodgers to Adams connections looked unstoppable. And I'm not sure what it was, whether it was play calling, the lack of double teaming, why you don't double team the best receiver that you faced possibly all year. I don't understand that concept. Davante had 0 catches in the first half. 0. He ended with 9 for 198 and 2. That is an unreal stat line. In my opinion, Ryan Nielsen is going to be the first person fired. That was an abomination of a pass defense. Tyson Campbell did get cooked, yes. However, he isn't on an island, and Tyson Campbell, in my opinion, is not a true lockdown corner. He's a good corner. He's not a lockdown corner. And to be fair, you can't really lock down Davante Adams for long, and it showed. On the offensive side, Mac Jones, 31 of 46, 67%. Not great, not terrible. 2 touchdowns. But Mac Jones does what Mac Jones does best, and that is throw picks. That pick to Sauce Gardner at the end was pretty bad. Gotta give the Jags some credit for trying to stay in this game. They led at half, 13-7, and blew a lead like they always do. My wife Julia was like, "Oh look, the Jaguars are winning." I'm like, "You just wait. They're kings of losing." This is when the Jaguars are up 16-10, and then at that point, that's when the Jets finally showed up. They took the lead, make it 17-16, and then Brian Thomas shows up. I want to know something real quick, and I don't know what you guys all thought during the game, but in my opinion, you have got to give the ball to your best player, and they finally did that. It's crazy what happens when you give it to your best player. Brian Thomas Jr. is an absolute stud. He is truly that guy. We have a wide receiver 1. It is not a debate in my mind. Now, the question is, who is around him to support his talent? Personally, I think that Brenton Strange is a good pickup. A good player. Now, is he a tight end 1? No. I think Evan Ingram is still that tight end 1. And unfortunately, we did learn last week that Evan Ingram is out for the year with an injury I can't remember off the top of my head, but I do think that there is a lot to gain from this offense in terms of Brian Thomas Jr. Now, why did it take so long to get him the ball so frequently? Like, he had 14 targets, 10 catches. He should be getting the ball on 25% of your play calls. Just simple as that right now. Evan Ingram is out. Christian Kirk is out. Parker Washington's not 100% ready to be a number 2, in my opinion, or number 3 right now. Brenton Strange fills in admirably for Evan Ingram. But, like, who else do you have? And I don't know if I just mentioned it because it's just me rambling, so I can't remember what I said. But Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne are not that good. But in regards to going into today, He had 14 targets last Sunday, and against the Titans he had 12, and against the Texans he had 10. It's good to give the ball to your best player. And I don't know why it took them till 14 games in the year to finally get him the ball. Like, against the Eagles, he had 4 targets. Against the Packers earlier this year, he had 4 targets. Against the Patriots, he had 5. Granted, the Patriots game was a run-heavy game. That's excusable in my opinion, but like, you should be giving him the ball so much. Minnesota, a month ago, 3 targets. Like, he went all of November. Granted, the Jaguars only had 3 games with 14 targets. He had 14 targets in this one game against the Jets. Like, that is what you need to do as a number 1 receiver. When you have a number 1 receiver, you need to give him the ball. Finally, they learned. It's just a little too late, in my opinion. And unfortunately, the Jaguars do lose 32-25 to the New York Jets. Next up, they do have the Las Vegas Raiders on the road, who are currently playing on Monday night. And last I checked, the Raiders are currently losing 9-3 at halftime to the Atlanta Falcons. So, the Raiders are currently 2-11. They will be potentially 2-12 or 3-11, just like the Jaguars are currently. So, Jaguars are currently looks to me to be locked into a top 6 pick in the NFL draft. But before I go in the draft, I do want to give a shout out to Nerdy Nuts. Nerdy Nuts is releasing some more new peanut butters. They do have some, let me get the website up real quick. They do have some specials online, but I just had one of my friends text me, Jonathan. He's I believe, a listener of the podcast. He indicated to me that he ordered the Pup Chow, the holiday Pup Chow peanut butter treat. And he did ask me for a code because he knows we are a partner with Nerdy Nuts. And I gave him this new code that is only active until Thursday, is what Keith told me earlier today when I told him I was going to record a late night podcast. So the Nerdy Nuts code for a 25% off your order. 25%. Our codes are usually 10%, so this is more than double. So go ahead and get your Nerdy Nuts. Use the code KeithManzi25, and I'll spell it out for you for people that don't know Keith and how to spell his whole name. It is KeithManze25. So KeithManzi25. With that code, you get 25% off. Now, the code is only valid until the 18th. It is more for holiday shipping, and hopefully you will be able to get it. You could do it as a stocking stuffer. You can get it as a little Christmas gift for a Secret Santa, a white elephant, whatever you prefer for your holiday parties. Definitely a wonderful peanut butter treat to give to everyone. It's the giving season. Give some Nerdy Nuts. Now, before I go into the transfer portal and whatnot, currently, as I was just mentioning, the Jaguars are currently number 4 in the NFL draft order, contingent on, for example, the Las Vegas game tonight, and also, I guess, the Chicago game, because the Chicago Bears are also playing right now against the Minnesota Vikings. That game does kind of implicate things as well, but mainly the Las Vegas Raiders. Currently, the number 1 pick is owned by the Giants, and could be owned by the Raiders by the end of the night, if I'm understanding this draft order correctly. Jaguars are 3-11, tied with 4 other teams currently at 3-11, and could be 5 with the Raiders if they win tonight. Right now, there is a lot of speculation on the future of this organization. In my opinion, and I've been on record for years, that Trent Baalke should be fired. And now, after, honestly, the last year, I do believe that Doug Peterson should be fired as well. I believe there should be a clean house coming in, and that could change things for the future of this franchise. But right now, Jaguars are currently stacked at the number 4 pick and still have some below 500 teams to play, including the aforementioned Las Vegas Raiders. They do still play Tennessee, who is currently the number 6 pick, and they have Indianapolis to end the year in Jacksonville. I'm sorry, in Indianapolis, but they are the number 12 pick currently. So 3 below 500 teams to wrap up the year. We are almost done with this football season, Jaguar fans, and we are ready to move on to the NFL draft. Now, as we mentioned, NFL draft, they come from college. And the Noles have been pretty active in the transfer portal recently. And the most recent addition that I have currently been informed of is the addition of former Boston College quarterback Thomas Castellanos. Castellanos, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I've seen multiple pronunciations. I have to confirm which one's correct. But he looks like to be the new quarterback for the Florida State Seminoles this upcoming fall. Now, with him coming to the roster, which means a quarterback's going to be on the way out, and unfortunately, 4-star freshman Luke Kromenhoek, who played down the stretch, is going to be entering the transfer portal. Kind of sucks, but I kind of get it. He just doesn't want to be behind another transfer as he was last year, and we all saw what happened there with DJ Uwangalele and his terrible performance this year. But note on DJU, he did actually declare for the NFL draft today. Good luck, DJ. If you get drafted, I'd be very surprised, but we'll see. But there's some other players that are coming, or I believe, interested in Florida State. But right now, there are tons of visitors visiting Tallahassee in the last few days, and also in the upcoming few days. Like today, for example, on Monday, they had Nebraska defensive lineman James Williams, Vanderbilt offensive lineman Gunnar Hansen, Arkansas offensive lineman Addison Nichols, and Georgia linebacker Troy Bowles. They still have 3 more players tomorrow visiting. They have 2 more on Wednesday. They had about 6 come from last Wednesday until Sunday. So they're working on it. They're working on the transfers. So it's just a matter of who will they get. Now, it looks like Florida State is still working on finalizing their coaching staff. They announced that they have hired Tim Harris Jr. as their wide receivers coach, Herb Hand as the offensive line coach, and local legend, in my opinion, and every Jaguar fan knows this name, Terrence Knighton as their defensive line coach. He was commonly affectionately known as Pot Roast. So he is now Florida State's defensive line coach. It has been made official. It is a big move, in my opinion. And I do believe that Terrence Knighton will bring a form of aggression and just dedication to this defensive line that I think has lacked over the last few years. The former D-line coach, Odell Higgins, will still be on the staff. It just will be in a different capacity. They're not going to let him... They're not firing him. They're not making him retire. They're just putting him as an assistant somewhere else. And they also have finalized a coach with Evan Cooper, who used to play at Temple and now is the current coach of the safeties for Florida State. So Florida State's working on the transfer portal, working on filling out their coaching staff. It's a new season. It's rough for Florida State, as we all know. They went 2-11. They stunk. It is what it is. But a little bit of breaking news today as well. Darrell Jackson, the former 5-star, I believe, he was committed to Miami, played for Miami, and then came here to Florida State. He will be a redshirt senior. He originally declared for the draft, but changed his mind over the last few days, and now is coming back to Tallahassee for his last season. He was, according to draft boards, he was expected to be a day 3 draft pick, but now defensive coordinator Tony White will be getting his hands to work with him, and like I said, the aforementioned pot roast. So it'll be very fun to see what Darrell Jackson says, and I'm excited to see Darrell Jackson come back. It's actually a plus, I think. And he wasn't going to make much in the NFL. I think he makes more now coming back to FSU. So this is why NIL is a good thing for college athletes. There still needs to be some rules and regulations, in my opinion, but this is a good thing. So I'm proud to say that Darrell Jackson has come back to Tallahassee, and hopefully he'll be a key contributor for this revamped Florida State defense in 2025. So it's just me today. Obviously, it's kind of hard to just do a solo podcast. But I just wanted to just get something out there for us because we are not sure if we're recording next week because it is 2 days before Christmas when we usually record. So we will see. But I just want to say one thing to everyone. 2024 has been a chaotic year for me personally, for Keith, and for Skylar as well. We know we haven't been producing as many episodes as we'd like. We do this as a hobby, as just to shoot the shit essentially, and I want to say thank you to all of you. Like, I know we say it before, we said in our Thanksgiving post a few weeks ago, but truly, like, if it wasn't for you people wanting to listen to what we have to say, we are three idiots that just know sports. We just want to talk and have fun. But truly, we would not be able to record, to get a sponsorship with Nerdy Nuts, to have a fan base who really want to listen to us talk if it wasn't for you guys. Like, we dedicate a lot of these shows to you. Like, I even told Keith, like, I called him, I texted him, and I said, like, I should just record tonight. Like, I know you guys can do it. I'll just record a solo podcast. Like, why not? Just, it is what it is. So thank you all. I know it's the holiday season. I hope everyone enjoys a wonderful, wonderful holiday season if we don't speak to you guys next week. But for now, I want to say one last thing. The Jaguars, yes, they lost Sunday. But that was the way they needed to lose. They needed to stay competitive. They needed to stay in a fun game. They lost. They improved their draft position, and it should amplify the heat on Trent Baalke and Doug Peterson. It should. Now, will it? We'll find out in about a month. We'll find out in 3 weeks. Will it be on Black Monday? We'll see. One last thing regarding sports. I want to just give a shout out to the Orlando Magic, who are currently 17-11 in the NBA. A quarter of the season has been done. They have looked very good. Yes, they lost the NBA Cup games. Whatever, the NBA Cup is a stupid thing anyways, but it is what it is. Magic look very good. They currently do not have their two best players, but it's okay. Paolo Banchero should be back soon. Franz Wagner will be back in a few months. And the Magic are a very bright team going forward. I do believe that they'll make the playoffs with ease because the East is complete dog water. But I do believe that the Magic will make a run at the NBA Finals this year. I've seen a lot from this team. This team has looked good. They are one of the three best teams in the East, and I don't think it's close. I think Boston and Cleveland are the top two. I think Orlando's right there at number 3. I don't know who else can compete with them. Maybe the Knicks, but Heat, Magic owned them recently. Milwaukee, they have too many flaws right now and too many issues. Atlanta stinks. Pacers suck. Bulls, we know what they are. Yeah, no, and then they get to the bottom feeders of the East. So, yeah, honestly, I'm impressed with the Magic, and I do believe I think they can make a run at the NBA Finals. So we'll see. But like I said earlier, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas if we do not hop on the podcast next week, and a Happy Holidays to whatever you celebrate. We are fans of everyone here. We love all our listeners. And before we wrap up, I do want to say the Nerdy Nuts promo one more time. To get 25% off your order through the 18th of December. So you have 2 days, maybe 1 day from when this posts. The code is KeithManze25, all one word. KeithManze 25. 25% off your order, once again, through December 18th. So definitely get those Nerdy Nuts out there. There's different flavors out there. There is, like I mentioned earlier, the holiday pup chow peanut butter treat. There is the s'mores brownie peanut butter treat. There is the caramel apple empanada peanut butter treat. Oh my gosh, my mouth is literally watering just looking at these flavors. So there's tons of them out there. I actually may get one for my Secret Santa, so we'll see. But yeah, and just to wrap up the episode before I log off, I got to give a name for our draft picks. I've honestly lost track of who I've said, so I'm going to say a name I know I have not said before. But with that, this wraps up episode 122 of Dimes on Duval. This is Mike Yasji signing off. Malachi Starks, safety, Georgia.